Thank you, Sakshi, for this wonderful introduction. William Shakespeare once said, "Cowards die many times before the death. The valiant never face death, but once." Good afternoon, Raipur.
Good afternoon, sir.
Jai Hind. How's the Josh?
Hi, sir.
How's the Josh?
Hi, sir.
Excellent. If you all are thinking I'm speaking a dialogue from a movie, I definitely am not. No, I really am not. This is a common terminology we use in the army when we address our troops in the morning at 5 a.m. for the PD parade. Let me tell you all that my family has been soldiering for 200 years. These are my ancestors who fought in the trenches of the Second World War. Some were not fortunate and lucky to return back home, but were buried in foreign fields and were martyred. Even though I'm glad that beards are back in fashion. Well, my father retired from the army as the deputy chief of the army staff. He was the second highest ranking officer in the Indian Army. I followed in his footsteps, decided to continue the martial tradition of his family, and I served under his command for a year as his personal staff officer, as his ADC, which was a golden period of my life. Many think, oh, it must be a paid holiday for you, serving under your father. But let me tell you all, it was the most challenging year of my life. That's my father and me. That's Mrs. Shah, his wife, incidentally, also my mother. My father had got this award in Nagaland when he was posted there in the early 80s as a young major. I got the same award when I was a major posted in Nagaland just before I left the army. I had the honor to lead the Assam Rifles marching contingent at Rajpath, New Delhi, saluting the President of India on 26 January 2008. But before that, let me tell you all, I have a brother officer here, Major Khongsai, and he's witness to this fact that while I was training, thanks Khongsai. While I was training in the academy, I cleared my marching test, my DSC, the drill square test, not in the final attempt, but in the mercy attempt. That means a grace attempt. And mind you, I grew up in a boarding school. It was a military school. Thereafter, I joined NCC in college. And my drill was, I perceived it to be pretty good. My word of command was good because I came from a theatre background. But yet, I still couldn't clear my drill square test in all the attempts. First attempt, failed. Second attempt, failed. Third attempt, failed. I was an appointment in academy. I was a Lance Corporal. And an appointment is given only to people who have done exceptionally well, especially who have cleared the drill square test. However, I proved the academy wrong. I proved the adjutant of my academy wrong. And the year when I left the army, I commanded the 26 January parade. After that, I was fortunate to have gone to IIM Calcutta to do my management. Worked in the corporate sector with a company which dealt in defense deals. Thereafter, I moved to Mumbai and I acted in a film called Haider. I played the role of an army officer. By virtue of having served in the army, working in the corporate sector with a company which deals in defense, now consulting and acting as an army officer in films with different get-ups, I was branded as the Major Saab of the Hindi film industry. Well, but no one knew my face because I had covered myself in all different get-ups. Thereafter, let me tell you, I was instrumental in motivating a lot of young minds like you to join the Indian Defence Forces. Because I told them army is not about just carrying a gun and fighting in the fields. It's not a job. It's not a career. It is a way of life. In the army, we learn a lot more than just fighting. For example, when I was in the army, I practiced the martial arts, and now I practice the fine arts. I'll come to that subsequently about my fine arts. You know, of late, recently on 14th February, we had a very terrible, dastardly attack in Pulwama, a cowardly attack on 40 CRPF men. This coward militant outfit attacked them. And I, being an ex-army officer, having served in Jammu and Kashmir for 2 years, having risked my life on several occasions, I couldn't digest it. I wrote an open letter to Jaish-e-Mohammed, the terrorist outfit, telling them, well, I am a Muslim myself, my name is Muhammad Ali Shah, that what you all are doing is not Islam. You are the true enemies of Islam. I wrote this letter at night. I posted it on Facebook at 4:30 a.m. I also am a visiting faculty at Subhash Guy's Whistling Woods. So I had a class to take in the morning. I barely slept for almost 2-3 hours. And what is the first thing we do when we wake up in the mornings? Brush our teeth, have a bath, have breakfast, check Facebook, you said it. So like any of us, I check my Facebook the first thing in the morning. And what do I see? My phone had caught a virus. I knew where this virus is coming from because I wrote an open letter to a cowardly outfit. So probably my account was hacked or jammed or whatever. And why I say it was hacked? Because I got close to 1,000 messages on Facebook. Well, to be precise, 988 messages. And it wasn't hacked actually. It didn't have a virus. It was a genuine, people had genuinely sent me those messages. And that post of mine had over 350 shares with thousands of likes. And within no time, that same letter that I wrote started coming to me on WhatsApp groups, started coming to me by email, and I immediately understood that this letter has definitely resonated with a lot of people. And in other words, it has gone viral. Gone viral. People started sending that letter to me without realizing that I am the originator of this message. Thereafter, I got calls from all the leading media houses in the country. It was published in Rediff.com, in India Today, in Scroll. People started sharing it on Facebook, all over. And I've been told, I don't know how true it is, but I've been told that it's had over 10 million shares across the globe. Not only in India, in other countries as well. Because people can resonate with that. And the only thing is, this letter does not have a single troll. Be it Indians, non-Indians, left-wingers, right-wingers, any ideology, non-ideology, everyone has resonated with this letter. Thereafter, let me tell you something very interesting now. You know, I had never done any analysis of the defense after I left the army. And when I was in the army, if I would do an analysis, I was too junior in service to be considered to be taken seriously. So what happened is, I got this call from this media house. I went there, and they wanted me to sit on a panel, on a debate panel. You know, you've seen people shouting and screaming on panels, right? But I don't believe anything in that sort. I believe in maintaining my dignity and conveying my points like a true soldier. 1, 2, 3, 4, crystal clear, crisp. So they introduced me first as, let's see the slide. That's me, Major, in brackets, retired Muhammad Ali. Next slide. Slowly and gradually the next, I came on as, because I put my points across very strongly, as an army veteran. Thereafter, as I told you, I've never done a defense analysis before, but by the way I would analyze the situation, they labeled me as a defense analyst, and all of a sudden this new defense analyst in India was born overnight. Thereafter, it doesn't stop here. I was introduced as Major Muhammad Ali Shah, defense expert. It was very embarrassing for me because in the course group I would write I would send the stuff, and I never claimed myself to be a defense expert. One day my father saw me, recently, my father saw me on television. I didn't tell anybody I was going on TV. He sends a WhatsApp message to me. Son, I have served 40 years in the army. A general, deputy chief of the Indian Army. I cannot claim myself to be a defense expert. How dare you? I was live on TV. I saw the message, but the camera wasn't facing it. I said, okay, I'll reply to it later on. Later on, I explained to him, see, I never explained myself that I never claimed to be a defense expert. Is it my fault if people are liking my analysis? They told me there are two things. One is you have knowledge. Other is you can convey your knowledge well. What's the point of having knowledge when you cannot articulate it well? So you have both. And one habit which I have always inculcated from my childhood is the habit of reading. I read a lot. Even last night when we were in this flight, and I had a close to a 9.5-hour flight to come here. By the way, let me tell you that to you. I boarded the flight at 12:10 a.m. at night from Mumbai, and you were with me in the same flight. And we had a halt tour after about 2 hours in Bangalore. I was lucky and fortunate. Army has given me enough training to be something called as a jugadu, resourceful. So I went to the VVIP lounge, treated myself to a cup of coffee, biscuits, had a nice 2-hour nap, luxurious nap. That's the time I tried contacting you, but you were probably tired, yeah, at that time. And I thought, okay, I can relax. I've stretched my back. Next journey was, the flight was from Bangalore to Indore, Indore to Raipur. So you can imagine, the 9-hour flight, and I did it effortlessly because I was trained in the army. Why I joined the army, let me tell this to you. My ambition in life was by looking at two icons in my life. One was, of course, like any other child. It was his father, exactly. And the second was my father's younger brother. He's an illustrious actor, Mr. Naseeruddin Shah. So, thank you. I also clapped at Naseer Saab. But let me tell you all, Naseer Saab, I respect him a lot. He is a hero in real life, whereas my father is a hero in real life. I thought, why cannot you become a hero in real and real life both? And let me tell you all, I managed to achieve it all. Achieve, not at all, but I managed to become a hero in real life. Well, I may not have been a hero, but I certainly had the good fortune of marching and walking besides a few real life heroes in real life. One of them is sitting right here. And thereafter, when I came to Mumbai, I got my first role on the day one of landing into Mumbai. First day, first show. I never excised any of my connections, my contacts, or my illustrious uncle, or anyone. I have always believed in doing things on my own. I made a very humble beginnings of my career as a waiter in a small little restaurant while I was doing my graduation, and I was as old as you all. I earned my pocket money, I paid my college fees from there. And then I read an ad on a billboard which read, "Do you have it in you?" I'm sure you read that ad. And below that, what was written? At the mere raw age of 21, you could be commanding 100 men who live and die by your word. This was very inspirational for me, and I thought I must join the army. Also, if I join the short service commission if I come out from the army after 5 years, army will equip me, it will pay me and train me in things apart from patriotism, discipline, martial arts, commando training, horse riding and polo, deep water diving, mountain climbing, rock climbing, hang gliding, adventure sports, water sports, parasailing, parajumping, paratrooping, you name it. And those skills would be required for me to be an actor as well. So I thought it would be a win-win situation. Let me do this. I joined the army. I served in Jammu and Kashmir for 2 years. And while I was passing out from the academy, there's an oath we take in the army. That's called the Checkwood Credo. Do you know what that says? It says, very good, I'm glad you've heard of that. It says, the safety, honor and welfare of your country comes first. Always and every time. The honor, welfare and comfort of the men you command comes next. Your own ease, comfort and safety comes last. Always and every time. And I felt this is my time to serve my country in the highly infested militant area of Jammu and Kashmir. I lived up to the Chetwood Credo. Thereafter I got a post in the northeast, where for a year I was ADG to General Shah in Nagaland. Thereafter I went to Assam Rifles. I wasn't very deserving, but I happened to get very lucky because the team I was leading were of very brave men. They did all the work, and I, by virtue of being the officer leading them, got the credit. So I got a commendation card, that award I showed you in Nagaland. I won that. I told my men one thing: operate like a tiger. Don't be scared of anything. If anything goes wrong, I am standing here behind you like a rock. And if anything goes wrong, just take my name. Those are my orders. I am responsible to answer that. Something goes good, you guys do well, not me. I'll step aside, I'll move behind. You guys have done the work. It's you who've done all the good work. So my team kept doing very well there. Thereafter, what do we have next? Next, that's again as a defense expert. Next, let me tell you about my changeover from martial arts in the army to fine arts outside. So let me tell you one more thing. One other saying that really inspired me when I was training at the Officers Training Academy. The day we joined the OTA, Officers Training Academy, we were taken for our haircuts. We had gone with long hair, funky dudes, and we all transformed completely. Some of us, like me, who had very long hair, were told stories that, dude, better chop your hair because they're going to make you do a ulta on a pull-up bar, make your hand upside down, and with a garden scissor, they'll chop your hair. So I was very scared about that. And we were only told that you'll get only 3 hours of sleep per night. We were trained, and we were trained in one of the toughest academies in the world, the Officers Training Academy. And it was rigorous training. My father wrote a handwritten letter in 2002 to me. When in 2002 we didn't have mobile phones, it wasn't that common, WhatsApp wasn't common. On that letter he wrote, son, when I was in the National Defense Academy, I had a piece of paper on my desk which read, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed at war. जितना हम अपने आप को तैयार करेंगे जंग के लिए, उतना ही हम जंग में कम खून बहाएंगे. If you have to cut something which will take you 3 hours to cut, you have to first sharpen the saw. And to sharpen the saw, it might take you 3 days. But without sharpening the saw, can you cut that piece? Yes or no? No. There is a photograph of a cat looking into a mirror. And what does this cat see? A lion, exactly, you said it right. We are nothing but a mere reflection of our thoughts. There's one particular saying which is taught in all acting schools, which is a man is as handsome as he feels he is. A lady is as beautiful as she feels she is. How many of us over here feel good about ourselves? Well, if I say something and if it resonates with you, and if you connect with it, if you like it, I want you all to say, yeah. What will you say? Yeah. Exactly. So how many of you feel good about yourselves? Yeah. Okay, very good. How many of you do not feel good about yourselves? No, no? Alright. So we have to feel that we can do it. Only if we feel we can do it, the mind can achieve what it can conceive. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you will not even attempt it. In order to get lucky, you have to first buy a lottery ticket. Would you agree with me or not? Without buying a lottery ticket, how can you expect to win that lottery? You may not win that lottery, but what if you do win that lottery? So coming back to what really inspired me at the Officers Training Academy, I read at the War Memorial there, how can a man die better than facing fearful odds, serving the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? Please stop this. Thank you. And one more thing. Is it working? Okay, then play it. Then go ahead. We only have 18 minutes. I think we've crossed the time now.
Led by Major President Major Muhammad Ali Shah, Sentinels of the Northeast,
That was when I was doing martial arts, and let's now see when I was doing fine arts, because they missed out the audio on that.
हेलो हाँ माँ मैंने तो बोला ही था पूरी बनाने को तो भैया ने बोला पोहा बना दे अब पूरी खाएंगे तो तौलिए निकल आएंगी इनकी रुको मैं आपकी बात कराती हूँ माँ
हाँ थोड़ी बहुत ही दे रहा
क्या है कितना उड़ रहा उड़ के जाएगा क्या
छोटी
भैया मतलब लड़की ड्राइव करिए तो कुछ भी
तो तू क्या अपना फोन दिला रही और वैसे भी नौ तेरी आवाज कहाँ से आई
भैया आप ना चुप ही रहो चलो ठीक है
अब तुझे आशीर्वाद नहीं दे सकते
कैप्टन साहब हैप्पी रक्षाबंधन ये तो दे सकते हो ना स्माइल तो कर दो
कुछ रिश्ते रेशमी धागों से ज्यादा मजबूत होते हैं
So that's when I do fine arts now. Thank you very much. I would like to leave you all with one small saying. One is, there is no ambition in life that we would be having that cannot be achieved. There is nothing in this world that we cannot do. You don't believe I tell you, I have personally seen wounded soldiers having lost their limbs, without hands, without legs, but crawling 30 kilometers and reaching the base headquarters, and yet surviving and emerging a winner after that. If they can do that, I see no reason why we get a backlog in exams. Yeah? I see no reason why we cannot be the best engineer of this country. Why this country of the world? I see no reason why we can have the best scientists emerging from India. I see no reason why India cannot be a superpower. I see no reason why we cannot achieve what we have to achieve. I see no reason why we cannot have a cake and eat it too. I see no reason why we cannot get best of both worlds. I leave you all pondering with one small thought, dedicated to our dear soldiers. You know, at this point of time, when you all are sitting here in the AC environment, enjoying the luxury of your chairs, you have to understand one thing. At this point of time, our brave heart soldiers unmindful of their own personal safety, putting their lives at stake, are defending our frontiers in the most difficult terrain of the country, away from their families, withering the cold over there, not complaining one bit and doing the job, the duty, happily, without complaining or cribbing about it. You have to respect them. So there's a quote I leave it to you all to ponder. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. Jai Hind!